That's how I roll. Hey, I'm just typing in the next one. Carry on.
Okay, guys.
Where are we, Rowan?
We are live and unleashed from the conference here in Chicago. We have had quite an astonishing weekend, I think. Is that fair to say, Mark?
It is, especially when you're on 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep.
Mark has determinedly stayed on European time zone, has been getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, clunking around the room and actually doing courses.
Yeah.
So that's how dedicated he is. It's been a truly, truly inspirational weekend. We've met lots of like-minded people in what is, it appears, a relatively small community. But it doesn't take a lot of people to make a tangible difference to pets' health, well-being, wellness, happiness.
And what a lovely bunch of people. Like,
yeah,
genuinely just... It's just awe-inspiring, really, isn't it?
Mark and I are utterly inspired and motivated to move the dial quite substantially when we get back to Europe. What was your number one thing you learnt, Mark?
Well, apart from, fortunately, we don't live in the States and have all the food, crazy stuff that goes on here with
the FDA
and all this kind of stuff, and the stuff these guys are having to go through, modified crops and all that kind of stuff. So I am glad we are where we are back home. So that's
with all respect and kudos to the US, who are doing an amazing job. I mean, Dana Scott from Dogs Naturally magazine is truly a thought leader, and in fact, we've got a really cool podcast with Dana where she talks about the relevance of some of the legislation to raw feeding, synthetic vitamins, adding fish oil or not. There's a whole host of really cool facts in that.
Problem is, we come back with about 45 million ideas now, haven't we? Just to say,
somewhere between 45 and 50 million.
It's just ridiculous.
There's been a lovely message just picked up on Mark's screen from Lachlan. My number one.
Yeah,
go on, you first.
No, you go first.
You first.
You first, because I have to read it.
Okay, because I have to read it. My number one is fecal transplants are definitely the way forward for looking after dogs' health.
For your dog.
For your dog.
Yeah, I ain't swapping.
So what else? We've got that.
How you feed your dog is just as important. What you feed your dog, and one course I went into was just blew me away because I never even thought about it. One of the common issues I hear of people with dogs is when they say they're fussy. And interestingly, they said one thing I hadn't thought about is the fact that we feed dogs from a bowl, which is when you think about it, why do you feed them from a bowl? Is it for the dog's benefit or is it for our benefit? Because when you look at how dogs eat out there, they don't put it in a bowl.
Yeah, it's actually a very compelling point that when wolves kill a deer, they very rarely put it in a bowl. They eat...
Not usually, get the chopsticks out.
Yeah, absolutely, a little travel bowl.
Yeah.
And the point being, a bowl, obviously, and Caroline's been really, really good at mentioning this quite often with fussy eaters or nervous dogs or anxious dogs, that ultimately it obscures their peripheral vision and it makes them feel vulnerable.
Because in the wild, they would take a piece of meat and they'd run off and hold that and start eating it, and they'd be watching. Like that.
Yeah, and actually we may have a cool solution for you all to share, but it's shh at the moment.
Yeah, so don't tell anyone.
Yeah, you've not heard that. Other things is, I was speaking to Dr. Holly Gantz about understanding the bacteria in dogs and how you can heal dogs with healthy bacteria. Somebody else we spoke to was Dr. Emily Stein, who is like microbial or a microbiologist, and she actually saved her own grandmother by understanding that bacteria in her mouth and biohacking it to stop infection. Really cool way, which we hopefully be sharing with you, and you'll see it in the podcast anyway, on how to prevent pathogenic disease-causing bacteria in your dog's mouth spreading throughout the body of the dog and creating further infection. Really cool, really simple, really cheap, cost-effective, both for humans and dogs. So we'll hopefully be rolling this out to you.
How cool was Isla?
Oh, Isla Fishburne,
Just
absolutely amazing. Dr. Isla Fishburne, you are super cool.
you rock.
She spoke to us, had some really interesting things. I mean, one of them was about plant consciousness, which we'll cover another time. The other thing, and shamanic drumming, but the takeout that I would like to share with everybody on this one has been that understanding your dog's character is key to, and their role they would play in the pack is key to having happiness in the household. And Isla explains that really eloquently.
Also, she talked about, because she spent time with wolves.
Yeah.
I think she moved in, and and all that. She was talking about the fact that wolves eat grass as well.
Yes.
So when we talk about dogs eating and getting a little bit worried, it's just a natural process for wolves as well as dogs.
Yeah.
And they go off and eat berries at certain times of the year, and it's just go, wow, there's the proof there.
Yeah, and there are
Research
communities
papers.
of wolves that eat fish.
Yes.
Yep.
Harry Ramson's.
Not Harry Ramson, they don't do trans fats. But as well as eating grass, there's a rumour out there that some of them smoke it.
Really?
I'm just making sure that you're paying attention.
Well, I was trying to read and do it. Anna. Your Anna.
Oh, Dr. Anna hielm-bjorkman, my goodness, from Helsinki University. She's the docent. She runs all the raw feeding research. She's probably one of the world's leaders.
We've got to really support her, don't we, for what that she's doing?
We do. We have to
We've got
get behind
really
this,
support.
guys. One of the things she's doing, which is really cool, is how about this fact on bacteria? They looked at 90,000 dog years of raw feeding across all these different communities.
That's 90,000.
Yes, 90. And there were 3 cases in 90,000 years of raw feeding. And that's across obviously like 8,000-9,000 dogs, whichever, over 10 years this study. 3 cases of getting bacterial contamination from raw food in 90,000 years of raw feeding dogs.
Bing bang bush.
In fact, what was really cool is they saw more cases of the dogs getting infected by the kids who had been to play school.
Go figure. Go figure.
Raw feeding's dangerous.
Yeah. Actually, it's your kids.
We spoke to Billy Hookman as well from Answer's Pet Food.
I'm just going to say, right, when these
he's
two
a
were
dude.
talking, I was just watching it going, I can only manage 2 syllables, and these guys would just...
Oh, it was so much fun to speak with Billy. Billy is truly a thought leader. What an inspiration. We will definitely be pushing the wheel on fermented vegetables. In fact, he's invited Mark and I to visit the farm, and he's going to show us how they do it. Thank you. This is all about collaboration being the new competition. We're just looking to learn stuff and to improve animals' lives. Simple as, really, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
We spoke to Rita Hogan, who is an absolute firecracker of a herbalist, and she was talking about how to use herbs to integrate them in raw feeding to actually improve your dog's health. There was times I thought I was going to laugh so much my face was going to fall off.
It was a funny weekend.
It was
a funny weekend.
So we've covered Dr. Holly Gans, we've covered Dana, we've talked about Billy. Oh, we spoke to Dr. PJ Broadfoot as well, who's a really out there, integrative, pioneering veterinarian. Not as easy to say at this time in the morning with a bit of jet lag, but she was talking about how she's used consistently thymus gland to treat dogs. We'll be looking into that for you and hopefully bringing that.
And the famous claim
Is a sweetbread, is one of the sweetbreads.
Have a look there.
Yes, we've covered Carol, and we just learned a load, didn't we, Mark?
We did. Like, my head hurts. It really does hurt. So it was wonderful. Yeah, Deborah, we'll try and do a round, but probably like a little blog post of things, so we'll try and get that to you, definitely.
Okay, yes, we will do.
Appreciate that, Kelly. Hi, Jude. Hi, Caroline.
Hi, all.
Hi, Rach.
Guys,
Hi, Darla.
I think if we were to really recap, we are far further along in our journey than we realised. We're really making some superb positive influence and changing things, but we've got much, much, much further to go, and the opportunities ahead of us to improve not just on the food side of things, but dogs' happiness and general wellness in the household are astounding. And we'll be sharing all of it with you.
As always, we'll just keep learning and keep passing up the knowledge on.
I think that was the key point as well, wasn't it? Is that we've all got bits of the puzzle, and everybody stood up and said, look, we're no experts in this, but we're just here to learn and to share.
I think what the important thing is coming out of this as well, is just how, like you say, somebody's working on the bit over here, somebody's working on the bit in there, and they're just not talking to each other.
Yep.
And what we've got to do as a business is to continue to develop our products by taking that knot and pulling them together, which is what you're really good at. Is going.
Thank you.
It's the only one today, mate.
Oh, okay.
It's pulling all this data together and going. Now I can see the complete picture.
Well, in fact, and we must remember to mention Leith Henry and Dr. Julianne Lee. They're doing some really interesting stuff. She did a talk on how to save dogs from cancer, and she's looking into, we can't say more than that right now, but we'll be sharing that. And we're going to be doing a regular podcast with Billy and Julianne Lee and all those guys, where we just sit down and have a round table. We want to be...
It's going to be massive, like, because they're across the US.
I like what you did there.
Did you?
Yeah. We're going to do like a round table. We're going to chair that. We'll do that at least once a month. We're going to cover like loads of your questions, just some common topics, and get everybody's different opinion on it, because we're just here to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got our new stuff's coming out in the next week.
Our new stuff.
Our new stuff.
What's the new stuff, Mark?
Can I tell you? Because they keep telling me off. As you know, I just got to keep my mouth shut. But we've got some exciting stuff. The latest podcast out, which was
how to transition your dog from processed food onto raw. I believe Andrew has very kindly put that up a few days ago.
So that's there. And we've got some more podcasts coming out for that. But we're going to maybe double up some of the podcasts because we've got so much good stuff.
Oh yeah, we're going for a couple of weeks now. And then we'll be doing a regular monthly one with our friends across the pond here in the US, and we're going to be connecting a few people. We're also going to interview the lovely Alice Clydebank, who is onboarding vets into raw feeding in Australia. What they're doing is they're speaking to vets at universities with a view to influencing them positively and showing the benefits of raw before they even set up practice.
Yeah. Inspiring stuff. That's where we want to get to, isn't it?
Totally. That's exactly what we want to do.
We want to support it.
And we also spoke to Dana about our own courses.
Yeah. You, wasn't me, you, but we'll have to work on that. Anyway.
That's a longer term project,
yeah,
but we are working on that behind the scenes to be able to bring these to people and share them with you.
Brilliant. Well, again, love to you all. Appreciate your input.
Peace out.
And speak to you soon.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Take care, guys.